Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to the episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 49 today for the Monaco Grand Prix in Season 3. If you guys did miss the previous one, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Quite a big episode, really, for this part of the season. You're documenting our switch from Red Bull to Toro Rosso then, and if that is very surprising, then you definitely need to check out the previous episode, and maybe even the one before at the Azerbaijan GP. But we're here at Monaco, the jewel in the Formula 1 calendar. Red Bull do make a minor upgrade there, so they are starting to try and close the gap to McLaren and ourselves here at Toro Rosso, myself and Leclerc. So you can see they're trying to do, or they're attempting to do the job that I basically tasked them with my move to Toro Rosso. Is, basically the deal was I moved to Toro Rosso, they try and improve the car and get it to where the Toro Rosso is, and then maybe we can try and swap back here basically. But at the moment they're obviously still a bit of a gulf, so I think it's going to be a bit of a Toro Rosso v McLaren fight at the Monaco GP. But I mean, I'm not complaining, because last episode it was a real great scrap with Leclerc, real fantastic fight. And obviously, you guys know I am yet to win at the Monaco GP in the F1 2019 game. I actually don't think I even won in the 2018 game in vanilla career mode. So it's been a long while since I've won the Monaco Grand Prix in vanilla career mode. So I'm looking forward to maybe having a good shot. We need to do the business though in qualifying. It's the most important qualifying session of the entire season. So let's get into it and drive this car with some anger.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula 1 qualifying. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
Lots of low-speed exits means the rears are in for a lot of punishment. It's all too easy to spin them up coming out of a corner too aggressively. It might look great for us as spectators, as we love to see a car driven beyond its limits, but it's not going to result in a great long-run pace.
Right, diving into Q1 then, the car feeling very good indeed actually. I thought it would after feeling great in Sector 3 at Catalonia, and it does feel great around Monaco here, so able to dance the car around. But we are going to catch a slow car of Grosjean, who hits the barrier and then hits us and slows down, and for some reason just that was the worst kind of getting out of the way or slowing down to let a car through I've ever seen, and so breaks my front wing there. So on our first final lap in Q1 I actually have to abandon that lap in the end, and we're going to have to come back in and try again. So that's going to lose me some time in terms of changing that front wing. It lost me a whole set of tyres essentially on the soft tyre, and that was going to be an okay lap. I felt, like I said, the car was feeling really great, able to kind of work the car through, maneuver it, move it left to right how I wanted to. I could feel through especially the last sector here in Monaco, just like the last sector of Catalonia, although you can see on the rear end it was quite snappy though. That's the only thing. The car was very maneuverable, but also very sensitive on the rear end compared to maybe the Alfa Romeo I drove last season, and also what I would have expected maybe from the Red Bull car. You can see there though I finished up in P9, so we just about make it through into Q2. Leclerc already on the pace, so I've got some time to find and some pace to find in this car. Double lock up into turn 1 and just narrowly miss the wall on the left hand side, trying to push the boundaries of this car in the brake zone and through the corners. Now we go through rash gas lock up on the front right tyre. Probably going to be doing that all race long, to be honest, because it's very easy to do on the game here, but going close to the wall, then trying to cut the run to the line as short as we can across the line, and it's fastest of the session so far. Verstappen P2, Gasly P3. In the end we moved down to P5 it is in the end, and Leclerc takes top spot once again, so he's looking very comfortable. But look at that, Devon Butler, the man who was looking very good in the Red Bull last episode. I think it was P4 in the Red Bull with Gasly P5 there, and he was flying high at P3 at one point at the Spanish Grand Prix, so he was doing so well in that Red Bull that almost gave me kind of scares in qualifying at Catalonia that the Red Bull was going to be faster than the Toro Rosso straight away. But no, Butler's now knocked out of Q2, P11 there. Gasly's the only one that's in for Red Bull, so already showing maybe signs truly where Red Bull kind of are. If they don't get a perfect qualifying in, the car is capable of getting knocked out of a Q2 session still. So we move on to the top 10 shootout then, and we're going to try and aim for pole position. Of course, we've got 2 sets of soft tyres to burn, so let's hope for the best here as we go through turns 1. Little bit annoying on the exit there, kind of went a little bit too hot. I had to compromise my line to make sure I got the car turned in and didn't hit the wall, so already I can tell I'm going to lose some time there, and I've got some time to find on a second lap as we come through the last corner. Pretty stable rear end that time as we open DRS, run to line. What will it be? Across the line. It is provisional pole ahead of Norris and Perez, but Leclerc yet to set a lap time, I believe. So let's see about that, and it looks like, yep, he sets a lap that is faster, and so it's a 1-2 for Toro Rosso right now, but there's a lot of time to find to Leclerc's lap time, so I think a lot of people might be able to go faster as well behind me, so we can't dawdle, but for now it is provisional 1-2 for us. But can I try and switch that around? We'll have to see, but very annoying scenes right here as the McLaren comes out just ahead of of us as we start a flying lap. It's Sergio Perez, who is a little bit further down the order. He's on his out lap, of course. I really hope he can get out of the way, but this is going to be such an awkward overtake. We're going to go around the outside of Mirabeau on the qualifying lap and still somehow actually gain time and keep that time we gained of about 3/10 there as we swing through the swimming pool chicane there, somehow able to keep on to this 3/10 advantage there as we go through the last corner, then lock up on the front right tire through the last corner. A little bit of understeer, loses some time there, and the rear end snaps. Open DRS to the line, and what's it going to be? It's only P2 then in the end. Leclerc maintained what's going to be probably pole position for him. We're P2, and actually by the end of it, it's really unfortunately down to P5. That was really shocking there. So Leclerc does grab pole, but the likes of Gasly even beat me, Verstappen and Norris there in second place. Very, very surprising that they were able to find that much time on me and slot in between us there, and kind of awkward that I'm so close to my former teammate Gasly. I guess the goal minimum will have to be trying to get back up into P2 at least to make the 1-2 for Toro Rosso, where rightfully the car should be, I guess, but it's going to be a very tough one. It is Monaco after all, but let's go to the Sunday and let's see how we do.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte-Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Why don't we discuss Red Bull? They've had just 1 retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are 2 of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, the engineer, and Faber, Bottas, Ricciardo, Vettel, and Sergio Perez, Butler, Raikkonen, Kevin Magnussen, and Hülkenberg, Hamilton, Kvyat, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Roman Grosjean. Stroll and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on a very overcast Monaco GP grid, but no rain will come. It'll actually get brighter and sunnier as we get on through this Grand Prix, but for now, very dull conditions. But the strategy will be a one-stop, of course, being Monaco from the soft to the medium tyre. But for the first time in career mode, we're going to underfuel the car, because I've realised the Honda engine really is so overpowered on the fuel saving here that we can basically run a little bit less fuel, and we're already getting it back quite quickly with standard mixture. So we're going to go for it and try and risk it with that kind of strategy, because we need to get back up to minimum P2. This car should have been P2. I should have done a better job in qualifying. I put my hands up. I should have done better. The 3 cars ahead of me really shouldn't have out-qualified me, so I need to do something. A lighter car maybe at the start would help me out, maybe get some overtakes done on the opening laps, and then obviously there's going to be the usual Monaco traffic when we make the pit stop, and even before that probably with just the log jam of Verstappen, Norris, and even Gasly, so we'll have to see about that. But let's just get into this then, the Monaco Grand Prix, the duel in the Formula 1 calendar. We go to 5 red lights here in the Principality from P5 on the grid. Lights are out and we're underway. Bit of a shaky start there from Gasly actually. We get an okay one to try and cover off Lucas Weber. Big dive into turn 1. Lock up on the front left, but we are side by side and we are now going in tandem with Gasly up the hill then. And so this is a straight fight between us former teammates of Red Bull. This is really tasty indeed. Round the outside we go. Can we find it to the inside of Casino Square? Push him out wide and try and get that P4. Yes, we can. And so that is a very crucial overtake and a very satisfying one indeed to get one over my former teammate in my new car. So there you go. It's now Leclerc from Norris, Verstappen in 3rd place. We're up into P4, and so that's happy days. And now we try and chase after Verstappen, but like I said, I think Verstappen and Norris are going to be a real tough cookie to maybe crack in terms of overtaking, because both cars are very decent in a straight line, and both have also obviously good upgrades. The McLaren more so than the Renault. Technically on paper, the Toro Rosso should trounce the Renault, but as of late, we've seen the Renault is quite a dark horse in race trim. But here we go on the exit though. Massive amount of downforce difference between myself and Verstappen there. We're able to pull it on the outside of turn 1. It's going to be a real tasty move the long way round at turn 1. Such a hard move to pull off, but we've done it in style there. Didn't make any contact with Verstappen, didn't make any contact with the wall. Just pristine driving there, if you ever do say so myself. We're up into P3 then, and it's a wonderful move there on towards lap number 4. So great stuff. So now it's on to Lando Norris, but like I was saying, this one might be a lot more difficult because that McLaren on paper is so much closer to the Toro Rosso on the R&D chart. You can see here closing up in Raskas there. Norris placing his car very delicately at the right points just to block off any kind of space to make some sort of bold move that I might do. And you can see here getting under his rear wing, trying to make a move to the inside of turn 1, but in the brake zone then Norris cuts across us very, very aggressively there. Kudos, to be fair, to Lando Norris there. Brilliant defensive work into turn 1, so I just can't get him there. Lap number 7, we close up in sector 1, but he's just leaving me very frustrated, my fellow countryman here. I just can't find any spot to make a move. You can see him darting around, trying to maybe have a little look around Mirabeau, into the hairpin even, where sometimes I might be tempted to make a pass, but Norris just really being such a turtle, because look at the minimap there. Leclerc's already got maybe a few seconds on us there, so it's not really like Norris has the pace over us. He's just placing his car so perfectly that I just can't get a run on him and can't make a dive work into like turn 1, for instance, or the last corner. And you can see the traction's all starting to kind of wear off a little bit. The advantage we have with downforce on lap number 8, because the tyre wear's now kicking a little bit, and I'm feeling it for sure on the rear end. And we obviously discovered last race that the Toro Rosso, once the tyre wear does kick in, it is a pretty atrocious car actually compared to the Red Bull. The rear end just loves to snap out there. So we're on lap number 9 now, onto lap number 10 through the last corner. You can see I'm just not getting that same exit, and look at that jolt of oversteer. The tyres are really not doing me well, and I'm really not getting used to this Toro Rosso once the tyre wear kicks in. So Norris is just doing a great job, to be fair to him, in P2, just, you know, keeping me at bay. We're kind of getting away from Verstappen, but we just can't do anything. And so on lap 11, I decided to come in a little bit earlier maybe than Norris and try to get an undercut on him. I do know the undercut, I mean, it seemed pretty powerful in the last 2 seasons there, just depending on how much traffic we hit. So I've got to hope that we don't hit too much and I can get the undercut on Norris, because I think that's the only way we're going to get P2 in this Grand Prix, because he's just doing such a great job of defending there. So hopefully this works out. As we come out, we're behind a Haas and a Racing Point car. Pretty decent amount of clean out, I would say, towards the Haas, but with the speed of this Toro Rosso, we will probably catch Grosjean on this lap, I would say, even though he's quite some way away. So that's going to be something we have to contend with at the end of the lap, and that's exactly what happened. We're literally almost pushing Grosjean through the swimming pool chicane there, up his rear wing. You can see the rear end is dancing around that Haas car that started on the medium tyres in this race. So can we make a move to the inside of Raskas? No, we can't. And we can't make that infamous move there. I don't know what it is right now in Season 3. I don't know if the patch changed the AI aggression at Monaco, but they seem to be so much better at defending there. I just can't get a move done to the inside there. So we have to go on the outside of turn 1. To be fair, though, that's become a lot easier. I didn't used to make too many moves around there on the outside of turn 1 on previous F1 games, or even in Season 2 or 1 here at the Monaco GP. So I don't know if the patch has changed the AI lines through Monaco, but definitely finding some more time in turns 1 rather than the last 2 turns here. And you can see right as I try to go around the outside of Raskas, Hulkenberg with a massive squeeze there. What on earth is he doing? We're still side by side through the last corner. That was such a hard-fought overtake, and you can see in the end, thankfully, it doesn't hinder us. We still overtake Norris with the undercut. So that's just the speed of the Toro Rosso and the undercut power that we have at Monaco that we still get Norris, and so we should be into a net P2 in this Grand Prix then. Of course, we're going to the end of the Grand Prix on this set of tyres, so now it's just all about, can we do anything to chase after and close the gap to Leclerc? That was a few seconds before the pit stop phases, but you can see there, I mean, massive scrapping. The AI really won it today, and that was such a close one. I almost could have broken my front wing with Hulkenberg's collision there on the outside wall of Raskas. Thankfully not, but now we're on lap number 15. We've set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and now we're closing up on Kimi Raikkonen, my former teammate from Alfa Romeo, and I've got to hope that he's going to give me an easy time on this overtake, even though it is for position, obviously, so he has every right to fight it. But ahead of him is then Devin Butler, and then is Leclerc in P1 already. So 2 kind of awkward overtakes here. One on my former teammate, and the man I swapped with in the Red Bull camp. So let's try and see here. Raikkonen, we're going to get the speed. The Toro Rosso has some great straight line speed with the Honda power. So here we go. Overtake mode. Rich Mix going. No DRS, but a massive dive to the inside there. Outside the tunnel. We get it done. It's a bit aggressive there against Raikkonen. So no love lost between us two. We make it work. And we're up into P3 now. And we're going to move straight on to attacking Devin Butler on lap number 16. But Butler is going to put up a great fight. And you can see how I have a little look into Raskas. Doesn't work out to the inside there. That lockup just about saved me there. But you can see he's actually so slow through through the corners there. I'm pushing him through, which is obviously, you know, shows the kind of difference from the Toro Rosso to the Red Bull. So the Red Bull team still has a lot of work to do to catch up to this Toro Rosso car. But equally, kind of like Norris, frustrating because he's not faster, but I can't actually just find the space in the track to overtake him in. And as we move on to lap number 17, the next lap, praying that I can make the move this lap here, you can see I'm really a lot quicker, making the move to the inside. Little fake there, just letting him know we're in the mirrors, but alas, he's just parking the bus, the absolute stadium here through the swimming pool section though. We get a great exit, literally touching his gearbox. We're going to go for it. We're going to have to send it. Bit of contact on the rear tyre, but we squeeze through just about there, and we take a leaf out of Charles Leclerc books. Charles Leclerc's book from real life 2019 Monaco GP. Get the elbows out like he did against Romain Grosjean, I think it was, in the Haas at the time in the Monaco GP in real life this year. And we just about make that through. Obviously, there was some contact there, but I mean, at Monaco, if you're going to make a move like that into that corner, I think there's no way you're going to avoid much contact, any kind of contact, really. We've seen it before in real life. It's happened, and the FIA have allowed it to happen. So, you know, I'm not going to feel too bad about that. And it's also against Butler, obviously my arch nemesis from F2, so I'm also not going to feel too bad, doubly too bad about that. But now we move on through the GP, and the task is now trying to see if we can try and catch up to our teammate Leclerc, who's been leading this Grand Prix from lights to now. We're in second place, of course, so we've already booked in maybe the 1-2 for Toro Rosso in this Grand Prix, made up for Saturday, but I want to try and see if we can catch up to Leclerc, and the only hope I really have is that he hits traffic, because the pace is very equalised. We're very similar pace levels, but there is a mountain of traffic you can see here with this train that Leclerc and I will eventually catch, because that's the pace the Toro Rosso has. We will eventually catch all these guys of about, I think that's 10 cars, I want to say, or at least minimum 8 cars, all in a train. You can see literally nose to tail, spearheaded by the Racing Point of Hulkenberg, the man who was very aggressive indeed defending against me. But you can see that's where I am, and Leclerc is through the hairpin. So there's about maybe a sector and a bit to go till we catch them, but the pace of this car means we will definitely catch them. And so we move on to lap 31 then, 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix. We have caught the train up. Leclerc has already made his way through 2 or 3 cars here, but he's been held up so much that the gap's gone from about 8 seconds to only about 3 or 4 seconds now between myself and Leclerc, and it's only going to get better and better for us, because I think hopefully I should be able to pass these cars with the blue flags faster than Leclerc will. And also I've just got to pray that basically that's the case, essentially, is you can see the Haas gets out of the way in the ideal point in the circuit, I would say, at that point of the track. I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes what really is the ideal place to let a car go, but so far going through pretty decently there, with Russell also letting me through turns 1, and then we catch up Tanker Fiat in the Alfa Romeo. He lets me by there pretty easily, so not too much time lost there. And meanwhile, Leclerc is still losing time up ahead, and he's only about 3 cars ahead of us. And now look at this, we're going to overtake and lap Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. The man I was in a championship fight with is a little bit reluctant right now to let me go, but he will eventually through turns 1. There you go. The man I was in a championship fight with has now been lapped and had the embarrassment of having to let me go at the Monaco GP. That is a very, very odd situation there. We get a Bottas then, and we maintain the pace and pressure. Now, look at this. In one camera shot, you can see myself and Leclerc. There's only 2 cars between us. It's Sebastian Vettel, I believe. Another very weird name to say that I'm going to lap here in this Grand Prix in the Williams car. Then you got Sergio Perez. Vettel gets out of the way very decently there. Thank you very much, Seb. And so there's only now 1 car that separates myself and Leclerc, and Perez gets out of the way. And so here we go. We're right there with Leclerc. No car between us there. Ricciardo is going to be very slow and going to let Leclerc through the last corner. One of the worst places to do so. He holds up Leclerc, and we have a run at Charles for the race lead potentially. We both got DRS, and Leclerc cuts across us very, very aggressively on lap 36 there, and he maintains the lead, but that was oh so close there, and that could have ended in tears actually if Leclerc shut the door any earlier on me. But him having DRS off Ricciardo helped him out there, otherwise I would have for sure had him on the outside for turn 1 like I had a few other cars earlier. But here we go now. We've got 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and it's 4 laps to pressurise our teammate for the race win at the Monaco Grand Prix. You can see the tyres are starting to go off, the pressure is on, the palms are sweating very much so in the cockpit of my car, and you can see the nerves are in the car, because I'm unable to keep the car so stable, because I'm getting so twitchy with the throttle pedal, because I'm getting so kind of nervous and excited that we could get the race win here in such a dramatic fashion here, after, you know, not thinking I was going to get the race win at all at the very start of this race. Here we go, the traffic's done us wonders here. We move on to the second last lap of the Grand Prix, just don't have the overspeed on the main straight to get a move done, and Leclerc is mighty through sector 1. But here we go now, the last lap of the Grand Prix. This might be our last chance to do it here on lap 39. 9 through the sweeping Porsche chicane. We get a great exit. Can we make a move to the inside of Raskas? No. Leclerc paces his car so well. It's a double lock up for us through the last corner, and it will be a dramatic finish, a real tense finish. It's a 1-2 for Toro Rosso, but Leclerc takes the win at his home Grand Prix, and we come home in second place, which is not too bad to be fair, but we nearly did the unthinkable, I think.
So another fantastic victory for Toro Rosso today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
As we await the winners to take their positions on the podium, one thing is clear. Toro Rosso have really shown their prowess on the track. This is a team that isn't afraid to take risks, whether that's on the circuit or in the new talent they hire. Today, those risks certainly paid off.
Well, so there we have it. One tasty Monaco Grand Prix. The 1-2 for Toro Rosso. We nearly got the win. But yet again, second time in a row, absolute banger of a Grand Prix in a battle between myself and Charles Leclerc. I'm really loving this dynamic right now. He's pushing me real hard. And so that's one win to me, one win to him. And long may this dynamic continue. This could turn into a Hamilton v Rosberg-esque kind of battle, you know, in this dominant Toro Rosso right now. And it could get even tastier if the Red Bull actually picks up pace then eventually with Butler and Gasly. And then whatever happens with me maybe swapping back to Red Bull, I don't know really. I can't say at this stage of the season, obviously, but yeah, very exciting race and really enjoyable one there. I think that was probably the best Monaco GP I've had on the F1 2019 game. I think that topped season 2 and 1, even if season 1 had that bonkers result for Raikkonen, and season 2 was a bit of a slow burner, I'll admit. So yeah, definitely I think the best Monaco Grand Prix I've had, and like I said, you know, the palms were literally sweating for me at the end there. You know, you could see it. I was getting the oversteer through the last few corners because I was getting so kind of nervous and twitchy on the throttle, just kind of really wanted to keep on the back of Leclerc as much as I could, but the car just couldn't get that little edge to get that exit, to get that dive bomb to the inside turn 1 or Raskas or whatever. So it just wasn't meant to be, but alas, you know, it was a fun Grand Prix, so I can't complain too much, to be honest there. And so we're going to end that episode off then, guys. Hope you did enjoy it as much as I did to race it. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're on your round here to subscribe for weekly full-on content, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.